Говорит Москва.
Hey guys, welcome back. We're gonna go into the chemotherapy lab straight away. I cracked open the door cautiously and peeked inside. A few paces away from me, slumped back against the desk, was a man. His head lolled to the side and his eyes were closed, but his lips were trembling faintly. He seemed to be unconscious. I looked at his legs and was hit by a wave of nausea. One foot was missing, and blood was streaming from the gruesome stump, pooling on the floor around him. On the other leg, there was a huge wound in his thigh, like a piece of the flesh had been ripped off. I approached the man and tried to wake him up. I didn't have any smelling salts on me, so I splashed some good old water in his face. His eyelids fluttered and the guy cracked open his bloodshot eyes. He wasn't looking at me, he was staring off into space. I didn't know if the injured guy was seeing something, but he was dying. He left. I could, Alex. It was hurt by bullets. The wolf. Leg. Why we came. Help. So much blood. He shuddered a final time and was still. I closed his eyes and considered his works. The wolf that wasn't hurt by bullets. Must be somewhere nearby. But what should I do? I searched the dead body. I rooted through the dead man's jacket pockets and pulled out a Makarov handgun with an empty magazine, a pack of Analgin, cigarettes, rusks, and matches. If the man had any other possessions, they weren't in sight. So I got a Makarov handgun, an Analgin, rusks, matches, and cigarettes. Okay, let's search the room. The room was pretty well preserved. On the tables, there were empty test tubes, measuring beakers, spirit lamps, and 2 microscopes. A hefty centrifuge lurked in the corner. In a glass-fronted cabinet, I saw neat rows of bulbous flasks containing chemicals, agents of various colors. I combed the room for any records or notes. I found a few newspaper clippings and a memo written by the lab technician, but there was nothing useful in them. I examined the cabinet of chemical agents. My attention was immediately drawn to a large flask labeled urea hydrogen peroxide. I recalled the wolf that no fear of bullets. What if I weakened it with smoke first? I put on rubber gloves and poured all the Analgin I'd found in the dead man's pocket into a beaker. I crushed it with a pestle and sprinkled it on top of the urea hydrogen peroxide. Then I made cones out of newspaper and packed them with the mixture. The smoke bombs are ready. From here, I can go to the room containing the state collection of viruses, the chemotherapy lab, the virus structure lab, and an unmarked room. So, I don't want to go to the no, that was a mistake. I don't want to go to the unmarked room because I feel like that's where the wolf's at, and I'm gonna go to the chemotherapy lab. Yeah, I'm gonna go to the chemotherapy lab. Wait, that's where we went earlier, right? Go to the virus structure lab then. Oh, ouch. Okay, I was not lucky enough, but it's fine. I went up the door and heard a low, threatening snarl. Whatever was in the room, it had heard my footsteps and smelled me. The door opened into the room. I gave it a quiet nudge and peered through the opening. Inside was a small workroom. I saw another door, and a black beast stood in front of it. The creature looked like a wolf, except that it was twice the size of any normal specimen. My flashlight revealed a dirty, cold, black coat. The creature turned its horrible, bloodied muzzle towards me and sniffed the air deeply. It must use smell and sound to orient itself. It had large yellow blisters where its eyes should be. The wolf jumped right at me. The door withstood the impact of its massive body, but I was sent flying against the corridor wall. My first reaction was to grab my gun, then I lowered it, reconsidering going into this fight unprepared would be suicide. Crack open the door and throw smoke bombs in. The wolf won't be able to smell through the smell of the smoke, and I'll have the advantage. Let's do that. Lit the paper wrapper, lobbed both smoke bombs into the workroom, and pressed my back against the door. They must have been smoking well because the wolf seemed to be getting angry. It threw itself at the door again and again. The joint of the door shook with every impact. I prayed to God that the wood and lock would hold. At last, the wolf stopped trying to get into the corridor. It seemed it was trying to get into the inner room of the lab. I can't waste any time. Let's go in. The whole room was filled with smoke. The wolf was standing by the second door, shaking its head. The smoke had disoriented it, but it couldn't see me. It didn't have any eyes. Moment of truth. Okay. Let's move to the edge over here. It has a lot of armor. I'm gonna use my pistol to deal with this guy. And you're gonna wait there. 144. I'm just gonna finish it off. There you go. Perfect. It's all over. The final wound proved fatal. With a surprisingly piercing yelp, the wolf fell to the floor and began writhing in horrible convulsions. It didn't want to die. The spasms stopped after a few minutes. The enormous jaws opened for the last time, and its yellow tongue rolled out onto the floor. The interior door was all scratched up by the wolf's claws and teeth. I turned the handle and pushed, but the door didn't budge. I pushed with all my strength, but still, it didn't move. Was it locked? No, something wasn't right. The wolf wouldn't guard it like that. I listened, not a sound. About a minute later, I heard a sharp scraping sound behind the door. Someone was pushing away something heavy. At last, the handle began to turn. I took a step back. A short and stocky young guy appeared before me. He barely reached my shoulder. But his look of pure joy transformed into one of horror when he saw the gun barrel pointed straight at his face. In a quiet voice, he stuttered the words, I thought it was Vadim. Who are you? Who am I? Just an average drifter. Who might you be? I'm Alex, said the kid, grinning broadly. My buddy and me live not far from here, near Mistishi. Ever been? No. Sometimes we make trips into the city, do a quick run through the grocery stores, and then straight back home. Now don't go thinking we're bandits or something. We've never laid a finger on anybody. I used to be a chef, and Vadim worked as a senior engineer. We don't even know how to shoot. We're completely harmless. Yeah, I don't trust him. Our luck ran out this time. The beast was tracking us. We decided to hide in this institute, and it came after us. Vadim fell behind, and I just got stuck here in this room. Jumping out the window was my last resort. Thank you for saving me. You're a good guy. I'll never forget it. He reached out to hug me, but took a wary step back. Don't be afraid. We don't even have any weapons. Hey, you didn't see Vadim around, did you? Did he survive? I'm gonna just give him the... He wet his lips and looked over me appraisingly. So it looks like Vadim had a gun and he never told me. He lied to me. I still feel sorry for him. He was a good guy, but he isn't the first and he won't be the last. I guess I'd better go. I can't even see the hole now, and I'm supposed to organize a memorial for Vadim. So thanks again, old man. Maybe I'll see you around. He turned around and walked towards the backpack hanging on the back of the chair. He lifted it up and came back towards me. It was still standing on the doorway, blocking the path. He nodded towards the door, asking me to let him pass. I need to ask him what he has in that backpack. Man, and there I was thinking that you were one of the good guys, Alex sniveled. I thought you were this noble dude going around saving people, but I see now you were planning to rob me. Well, screw you. He reached into the rucksack and pulled out a food can. I don't have anything of value. He pulled out another can. I only have food for a couple of days. He sat a bag of pasta next to the can. So are you going to take it? Take it. A bag of buckwheat grain appeared after the pasta. I'll die of starvation. Hope that weighs on your conscience. I don't trust him. He's going to pull something out. I hope you suffer over it. He pulled out some canned meat, but if you want, I can take away your suffering. And this time, instead of provisions from the depths of his rucksack, Alex pulled out a gun. I knew it. I don't like people like that. I'm just gonna finish him off with the gun. Screw this guy. Oh, well, never mind then. I need to penetrate his armor. Poison this guy. I'm gonna take cover behind this and move you out of the way. I knew it. Okay. I'm gonna move up here to get a clear line of sight on this guy. 94, and I have 3 attacks, so I'm just gonna finish him off with the crossbow if possible. He should die. There you go. And the man gasped his last. I dragged the body into the corner. Then I started looking around the place where the man had hidden from the wolf. The only furniture in the room was a cabinet, a desk, and a chair, and the room was scarcely bigger than the workroom where I fought the wolf. There were 2 more doors, both shut with heavy padlocks. The desk drawers contained nothing interesting, but then in the cabinet, I discovered an almost brand new hazmat suit hanging in a slipcover. I stowed it in my backpack. Oh, well, looks like we've done everything except for the unmarked room. Through the door, there was a huge empty room. It looked like somebody had carried everything they could out of the place. All that was left was a hefty cabinet with open glass doors. Clearly, it was too large and heavy to move. The floor was littered with pieces of glass and tiles that had fallen off the walls. An extraction hood protruded from the ceiling. I discovered that the windows were shut tight and also sealed from the inside. There's nothing else noteworthy here. Alright, we're ready to go in. Put on the hazmat suit and let's get into the room. The room was very long and the far wall was swallowed by darkness. The collection of viruses was laid out across 3 tables, and test tubes secured in racks. Certain test tubes were empty. As I panned my flashlight across the rest, I saw that they contained cloudy yellow, pink, or pale green liquid. There was broken glass and dried puddles on the floor and tables, and a patch of gray-brown mold appeared in the patches on the wooden tabletop. Couldn't smell anything from the inside of the hazmat suit, of course, but I would bet that the place had a fair stench about it. The smashed test tubes indicated that the buildings had been shaken during the nuclear attack, but not violently enough to overturn the chairs. There were microscopes on a bench running along the far wall. A chunk of plaster was sticking out of under the table. It probably fell off during the bombing. I bent down and saw a hole in the wall. There was something inside. I'm gonna pull it out. We grabbed a letter to Tula. Dear Nadezhda, when you read this message, I beg you, do as I say. I don't want to frighten you, but the things are bad. Nesterov didn't come to the lab today. I couldn't read the rest because it's blurry. The recipient's address is on the envelope. Kulik in Tula, 28 Krasnoarmeyski Prospect. Well, what do we have here? Looks like somebody wanted to send a letter, but they forgot or ran out of time. Its contents might be of interest, seeing how it was hidden in the wall and all. I hope the paper didn't get too damp in there. I don't think I'm going to find anything more in this department. I need to leave the institute and examine my find. Alright, so we do get the body of that man. I believe it was the guy with all the stuff. Nope, it's something else. Pick everything up. Now, maybe take a bit of vodka. What else can we take? I'm gonna read that. And that. I shouldn't have done that here, but I just want to reduce. Oh, wait, what? That was weird. Anyways, let's move out. Everything here is searched. Oh, yes, that's right. I am overloaded. Time to drop the, Actually, I want the bones. I'll use it. I think it's time for me to find something that I can actually take that's not going to be a waste. In this case, what am I looking at? Weight-wise. Let's drop a bit more. Just probably 4 would let us walk, honestly. If there's anything good, I'm going to grab it. I've never seen that before. Allows you to carry more items while you're wearing it. It gives you a carry weight of 15 versus the one that I have, which is 20. So it's not a big thing. I can tear it up though. It's 15. How heavy is this thing? I think it's 15. But how many more items can I carry? Items only 500 grams though. Oh, 15 kilos of carry weight. The item's not too heavy. I might sell it. I think, if I can. It's not too heavy. But this gives me the opportunity to smoke a bunch. Because we were running out of energy. I keep missing the area where the cigarettes are at. Did I miss it again? Yes, I think I did. Why am I not able to find the cigarettes? Did I do something with them? Okay, let's go at it one by one. There you go. It's right here. Ugh. Alright, let's quickly read that book. Alright, perfect. There's some water here that we can grab. And I am thinking of taking that last pint of vodka. We were drunk. We're really drunk. Okay, let's figure out what we can do here. Basically gonna end up dropping more scrap. It's not so important. I think I'm just gonna carry 50, honestly. It's getting out of hand. Okay, perfect. Now let's go to the road, take off our mask and set up camp. And that's the end of the episode. I'm gonna set up camp and I'll catch you guys in the next episode. See you soon.